Let me begin by telling you a story. Imagine yourself as the hero of your very own fantasy movie. You, the hero or heroine, struggle mightily against dark forces that threaten to sweep over the land, crushing all before them. There are a series of battles, some small, others titanic, but ultimately the dark enemy is defeated until the sequel. Life is beautiful, the birds are singing, and everything is easy until one day you discover that those dark forces have returned to threaten your kingdom in a new, fiendishly clever attack. That, dear viewer, is the concept of resistance. It is present in each and every one of us. Resistance, and resistance alone, is keeping each and every one of us from living our best lives. So, why should a doctor even care? Because I've found that no meaningful healing comes without the patient's willing participation. In my nearly 20 years of practice, I've learned that hidden or rarely spoken of resistance, or negative stories that we all tell ourselves, can and will undermine any healthy moves, medications, or lifestyle and life modifications that we try. Simply put, if you want to heal someone, then you must also address the dark resistance lurking just under the surface. And my track record speaks for itself. When we, my patients and I, begin to address the underlying resistance, our health and well-being are transformed. Sounds kind of melodramatic, right? I used to think so too, until I read Steven Pressfield's The War of Art. Reading that book struck me like a bolt of lightning and opened my eyes to the fact that resistance has not only played a huge role in impeding my own life's progress and success, but that it is always watching, shape-shifting, relentless, fiendishly clever. A force as powerful as gravity itself, it can induce others to try to tear you down. It's completely internal, never sleeps. It's something that comes from deep within each of us, and it's always full of soothing lies, but will betray you at the very first opportunity. Whether or not you feel like you're creative or that you have this inner ability to succeed, the reality is that each of us was born into this world with an inner creative gift. Yeah, I said each of us. That includes me, that includes you, and it includes nearly every human being that you will ever run across. And yet, obviously, creative energy and voices are truly rare in this world. Why is that? Because Pressfield says, and I believe, that it's because they've succumbed to the soothing lies that resistance whispers into their ear. And that soothing whisper crushes their inner light. Here's an exercise. The next time you interact with someone, see if you can see that creative spark in their eyes. Is it there? Or are their eyes dull, flat, and lacking in that inner spark? If you do notice those traits, or horribly see them in the mirror, know that you're looking at someone whose inner light is currently being strangled by their own internal resistance. And if you are one of those in whom the resistance has been temporarily stymied, rejoice, because the simple truth is that you can overcome resistance. It's just going to take work. That is, doing the thing that you were meant to do, unleashing your repressed creativity and life. Now, this is the point in the patient interview when I hear my patient say, "What, Dr. Cashio? Don't you know that I'm so busy, what with my kids, or my wife or spouse, my job? You know, it's just too much. There's absolutely no way that I can make these changes," right? And I say, yeah, there actually is a way to overcome these inhibitions and to actually unleash your own inner creativity. Step one, set your goal. You'll never get there if you don't have a destination in mind. And actually, I'd like to kind of expound on that a little bit. What I have found is that it's a great, chicken or the egg. What comes first, the desire to create or do, or the doing that creates the desire and will to keep going? And the answer is yes, it's both. You need to not only have a goal in mind that is consistent and congruent with what you want to do, but then you have to do the hard work every single day, which we'll get into, to make it happen. Just having the desire isn't enough, and just doing the work isn't enough. You need both. Step two, determine what is necessary to achieve your goal. If it's not necessary, get rid of it. That which you don't need to achieve your goal only serves to distract and drain your creative energy. Now, if you're a parent or you're married, obviously your family is going to compete with your attention. And that's okay. You're just going to have to work harder than everyone else. And you're going to have to really cut down on anything which doesn't actually contribute towards you actually achieving what you need to achieve. Step three is executing the plan. The first thing you need to do is I want you to pick up two books. One is Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a great book, and it goes into minute detail to tell you how people who are successful, how they actually succeed. And strangely enough, it isn't that they're more disciplined than you, It's just they set their lives up and their environment up so that they can be successful. And if you take some of these lessons into hand, you can be successful too. The second book that I recommend is something called The 12-Week Year. This book, it tells you how to map out all the things that you need to do in 12 weeks that will equal about 1 year's worth of work that most other people do. It takes a lot of work to get it going, but once you've done this a couple of times, it's very effective. So basically this says, here's my goal. Now, working backwards from my goal, what do I need to achieve it? And so if you have a big goal, like say, publish a book, it might be get the first draft done, and that might take you 3 months. Okay, what is it going to take for you to accomplish that? And the 12-week year book really kind of serves to help with that. And yeah, I know, I realize that I'm saying that in order to be really creative, you have to actually set and live by a schedule. It's ironic, but it's actually true. And you talk to any creative who has been consistently creative over time, month after month, year after year, you'll find that they'll often tell you the same thing. Step number 4 is pretty obvious. Do the work that you need to do every day. You've got to do it. And the more days that you do it, the more consistently that you do it, the easier it becomes. When you do it, you need to set off enough time. So step number 5, block off enough time to devote to your creative endeavor. I don't know about you guys, but it takes me a little bit to actually get into the rhythm, whether it's writing, whether it's writing code. What I've discovered is that it takes me, at least at the beginning, about 20 to 30 minutes to get into my flow. But once in my flow, I don't want to stop. The other bit I will tell you is that the longer or the more often you do this, the faster you get into your flow state. And with that, you want to schedule at least 4-hour blocks every day. If you can't, then take a 2-hour block, but do not allow for any distractions at all. You tolerate no interruptions from yourself or from others. Put away your phone. If you have a Mac, turn it on Do Not Disturb or sleep mode. If you have ADHD or you tend to procrastinate, no side quests are allowed. So step 6, as a consequence of all this work, you will develop the discipline and habit of creating. It will come faster and be easier to execute. Step 7, hey, you've achieved your interim goal or your major goal. That's fine. Congratulations. Step 8, rest. Just kidding. I want you to define your next goal. I have found over and over when talking to patients and myself that if you allow yourself more than, say, 24 hours or 36 hours of rest, you start to backslide into the habits and behaviors that brought you to that state where you weren't achieving and you felt dissatisfied. Everybody I know, I've known in my life who was driven and creative and getting after it, whatever it meant, whether it is writing a novel, whether it is creating visual media, whether it's doing videos, building a business. They actually can't handle, they don't prefer to be lazy or to rest. Take a small rest, but then get right back into it and then rinse and repeat. Now, just to kind of close this out, this is going to be an endless process for you or for any creative. And by creative, I want to be very clear that not only am I talking about artists, like as we traditionally think of artists, musicians, writers, visual medium specialists, whatever you want to call it, videographers, but also people who create business, right? Like if you think about it, creating a business is creation. You take something from nothing and you build a company and a service that delivers that to other human beings. And that is not trivial. If you're a cook, that's another creative kind of thing. Okay? It's an endless process. And so if you read up on the histories of any great artists, they don't become stagnant. Their best work is when they're just doing it day after day. So final thoughts, endless process. So don't think this is a one-time thing and then you're done. The more often you do things, the stronger that your disciplined creator habit becomes. Likewise, the less often you do it, the weaker that habit becomes. This is important. Learn to forgive yourself, for you are only human. And resistance isn't, so you're going to have setbacks. But as long as you just take it as, okay, that's a setback, and move on, it's not going to affect you as deeply. And related to that, self-loathing does nothing but destroy your inner creator. And it's just another way that resistance tries to drag you down into the muck and slime. I want you to consider accountability. Don't forget that human beings, we are social creatures. We're designed that way, and even you so-called loners for the most part actually crave human interaction. So because we're social, we tend to inherently seek the approval of those around us or those that we admire, which isn't necessarily the same thing. Therefore, I want you to try and surround yourself with loved ones or those who will support your creativity. Simply being around those people who are supportive and or achieving that which you want to achieve has a natural consequence of motivating us to do better as well. And as we talked about before, sometimes those people around you who are not engaged in this creative endeavor with you, sometimes unleashing your inner creator can cause those around you to become jealous and petty. It's not that they're bad people. Rather, seeing you overcome your resistance makes it painfully aware to them, even if they're not consciously aware of it. It makes them aware of their own failure to resist that soul-crushing beast. And nobody likes to feel like a failure. So with that, creation comes from love. And so if you have any of those people in your life, approach any such people with a sense of compassion and empathy, because not too long ago, that was you. That's all I have for now. I hope you found this video useful. What do you think about this video? Have any of you ever struggled to overcome your resistance? Were you successful? I'd love to hear your stories and struggles below. Until next time, this is Dr. Peter Cashio, MD, wishing you the best of wellness and health. Salud.